48-hour art check.
Yes.
Round 6? Are we in round 6?
I honestly don't remember the round, but I think it's 5 or 6. 6, I think. Yeah.
It's 6 because this is the end of week 2.
Boom. Let's do it.
All right. Okay, here we go. Okay. I feel like I get the impression that we're both going to have a lot to say during the challenge section.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Oh, man. Okay. I have a new timer. So you can actually see the time countdown now, so we can gauge it better than the spinning heads. I don't like how it looks, but I'll get into that during challenges. So I can't remember whose turn it is to go first. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first. Why don't you start it off?
Okay. So what have I done? So I have been doing this page, which should not have taken me as long as it did, but for whatever reason, the printer at my work did not want to print, and it was like I couldn't photograph it or scan it or whatever. So huge thing. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at with it. I rearranged a bunch of stuff. I feel like it's in a good spot. I wanted to have several of these pages penciled at this point, but that was just not in the cards. So this is kind of where I'm at. And compositionally, it was kind of an issue with a number of things. And then I also made this timer, which you can see, which might not be as impressive to people, but it's coded, so it's not. I didn't type in each number. I figured out how to write the code so that it figures out the time in seconds and then divides that into minutes and then puts the remainder in seconds and then counts backward from the number of seconds. So for example, I put in 120 and it'll count down 2 minutes. I put in 300 and it'll count down, from that. So like, it's pretty happy with that. And now I just got to make it so that I like how it looks. But those are the 2 accomplishments that I had so far in the last 2 days, I guess.
That's pretty amazing. Do you want to... Well, I guess we can get into that when it comes to challenges, because I'm like instantly like compositional issues. Like what I want to hear, hear more. So we'll touch on that during the next thing. But that's cool. The timer thing, brain blown. I can't do coding for the life of me. So
I just figure out how to steal it from other people in a way that, like, obviously they're giving it away for free, but like I don't know how to come up with it from scratch, but I can reverse engineer stuff enough to make it work. So that makes a little sense, because back in the day when you had to do a little more coding with websites, that's what I'd pretty much do. Right. Yeah. So how about you? What did you get done in the last 2 days?
All right. So should I show the image? All right. So what you're seeing on the left is basically just the thumbnail that I did today for the next page of Quarterly Stories. So I'm on point with that. It's basically a sequence that's going to have an overhead shot of a playground and then a zoomed in shot of this kid with an Indiana Jones hat, a close up of like some like communion cups being used as like soil samples. It'll make sense in the story. And then like a under shot of like the kid kind of holding like a saber-toothed tiger's tooth. So that should be pretty exciting, and just stay tuned on Quarterly Stories and it'll make a little more sense when you can actually read it. But that's accomplished. And then I thought I'd show just kind of some of the freelance I've been working on in the last week. So to the net, like right in the center at the top is like a t-shirt design that I modified. So it was a t-shirt design I'd done before, and then the client hired me to kind of replace what was in his beard, which was initially like squids and stuff like that, kind of intertwining with his beard with a boat. And then this thing DWC, because the client's husband actually does this like boat racing stuff. And so that was cool and pretty quick. Under that is like illustration that I was having to revise, and that's the most current revision on it. And then to the right of that is the page that I cleaned up that I couldn't really show on the day that that we had the opera and the kind of noises going on. So that's pretty much my progress. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. These pages look awesome, by the way.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Exciting. Kind of fun to get stuff done, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you had a lot accomplished in that period. Our timer's starting again. Oh no, I'm ruining everything. Come back. Come over here like that. So as far as challenges go, I always hesitate with the challenge section because I don't want to like complain, but I also like that we talk about that because it's not like normal social media where it's like the realism or where we're like filtering everything and our life is all rosy, but like,
yeah,
oh man, it hasn't been like hard, just super busy, just a billion tiny little things. Like my daughter who's 8 is having like just this massive dramatic crisis that I feel like shouldn't happen until she's like 13. And so, you know, like I don't want to be a jerk and be like, hey, I've got stuff to do. And so, you know, that was like a couple hours. And then she decided to stand on the sprinkler. And so that snapped. And then this thing stopped working on my bike. And then there's a hidden carbon monoxide alarm somewhere in our house that took us a while to find because it was beeping, but I didn't know where it was. And it wasn't,
oh no!
It was in the utility closet where you're not supposed to put them. And then our cat ran away, which is normal, runs away all the time, totally fine, except she left her collar in our house. And so we knew that. And so then she was stuck in one of our neighbors' backyards and couldn't get out because she's stupid. And so we had to like knock on their door. It was just like nothing big, but like just a billion little things. And then now this week is the first week that we had that professional opera singer teaching in our home, which is a huge opportunity for my wife who sings opera.
Oh, insanely cool. Yeah.
But also I'm not used to not having my own space. And so there's kind of like some give and take and some stuff with all that. So that was, it's been a weird couple days.
Yeah, and I think that it's I don't feel like it's a bad forum to bring that up because I think that for other artists there's usually a perception that like, hey, you've got it easier, you know?
Right.
And it's like that's not the case. I think most people are sincerely too overloaded to work on their own projects. So for me, it's just been a struggle of challenges like that where it's like, you know, my son trying to make sure I'm being a good dad, like you're describing with your daughter. It's like you want to spend that time and invest, you know, and yet like also trying to find windows of time. And the byproduct of me having a year of trying to say yes to things, to more opportunities, means that sometimes I spin too many plates. And this week was definitely that, where I just had too much going on and I literally just dropped a plate. And fortunately, because of the friend that was with, it's like we both agreed to just kind of like take one plate out of the equation for the week. And that right there just kind of was a moment of relief and allowed me the time that I needed to kind of do everything I needed. And I still managed to, you know, do the NCS meeting, which was incredibly fun. I ended up, you know, at a bar with a bunch of New Yorker cartoonists and one who writes for The Onion, like hilarious people and really sincerely good people to just kind of, you know, hear their viewpoints and their perspective on politics and stuff, and just really good bonding and encouragement for keeping at this game because it's people who are actually getting published. And I think it's, you know, I've said this before, but I think it's really important for cartoonists to try to seek out environments where they're not the smartest person in the room, where they're not the most accomplished. And so I think like doing things like what you're doing, Cory, with like, you know, having a mentor and like trying to kind of gauge and absorb information and NCS, things like that are like really good and valuable for keeping the fire going.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. And I love a lot of the things about where I live, but one of the things that really bothers me is just being such a small population size. I'm not aware of. There might be, but I'm not aware of a lot of opportunities that are like that where I can go hang out with a bunch of other people like that or whatever.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think you just got to seek it out in whatever way you can get, and I think there's benefits to both because like one of the downsides of living in Los Angeles is you're surrounded by so much like wild success
Mm-hmm.
in the arts that it can be overwhelming. You know,
Right.
it's like I go to NCS meetings and there's guys who've directed Disney films. You know, and
Right.
it's like there is that moment of like it's encouraging, but it can also be really discouraging because you're like, well, what have I done? You know,
Yeah.
I haven't been up for an Oscar, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, so there's like mixed benefits to both, and I think at the end of the day, I think if you're going out with the goal to kind of improve yourself, I think like any of it's going to be beneficial. You
Yeah.
know, but I think like you know you get it the way you can get it, however that is. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I need to. I think I need to be a little bit more proactive in that area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's been a couple things. There's been two anthologies that have come out in the last 6 to 8 months that have done different things that I really, by all rights, should have been involved with.
Yeah.
But I just haven't. I've just been kind of sequestering myself in a cave, and so I think I need to kind of get out there and let people know that I'm interested in, in being involved.
Yeah, and it's a balance. It's a balance because I spent a lot of years like really focusing and saying no to tons
Right.
of things, and I think that can be valuable too, especially if you need it to accomplish a big project. But I just caught myself saying no to so many things that I had a lot of missed opportunities. And funnily enough, like the few times that I've agreed to be in anthologies, years later, those have been really beneficial things. Like a cartoonist meetup I went to recently was like an anthology that I just kind of was like, well, this is funny.
Yeah.
It was like a monthly experiment trying to kind of get back to like the core of like what Mad Magazine was. It was called The Devastator, and I've through doing that I've met so many other cartoonists who did do it, and it's like a common connection we have. And then the editors are really nice people, so it's weird because while it didn't like financially like make the bank, it definitely ended up being something that I've not regretted. And that's what
Right.
I found with most things. So it's like that fine balance, you know, like I struggle with that all the time. Like, do I say yes to this? Because, you know, and at the end of the day, what I've tried to do as a gauge, and I think we've talked about this before, is just try to think, will it be harmful or potentially helpful?
Yeah.
You know, and that's pretty much my gauge. So should we get into the bit about what did we get into plans?
We haven't done plans yet.
Let's hop in.
Yeah. So
Although, do you have something to cap that with?
no, I think we could do a full episode on that at some point in time. So I'll not say anything just because it could go into like a 45-minute
Got it.
thing. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. As far as plans goes, my wife and daughter are leaving for a week. They have kind of an opportunity. A local band teacher and his wife, they're friends of ours, and they're taking their band kids to Disneyland. And so my wife and daughter are going to go to Disneyland. And
Awesome.
so a lot of that will be me helping them kind of get ready to leave, and then I have to try to fix my lawnmower. So there's some more challenges and stuff because I haven't mowed the lawn this year yet, and it's now the snow's been gone long enough to where it's a problem.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ink this page this weekend, and there's enough. I'll bring this up. There's enough detail in this where that's a fairly significant undertaking because there's a lot of foliage, which is easy to do, but is exceptionally time consuming. And then in the pencils, I've actually left quite a bit of the problem solving out just because I kind of know what I want to do with it. And so instead of drawing it twice, since I'm penciling it and inking it, that'll add a little bit of time. But anyway, I hope that I can get in about 6 hours. I'd like to ink this and then get some significant progress on the next spread before Monday.
Awesome.
That's kind of my plan.
It's great.
So how about you? What are your plans for the next 2 days?
Okay, well, so my plans are to hopefully. Sorry, I just had a brain fart. So my plan is to hopefully get further and start penciling that page, because it has an overhead shot that might take a while. So I'm going to hope for at least having rough pencils done on the thumbnail on the left. It's going to take some research too, because it's an actual location. So I want it to kind of slightly resemble that location.
Yeah.
And then basically, other than that, my goal will hopefully be to start securing this thing for like a documentary, which I can't really talk about yet.
You'd mentioned,
but it's looking like that's going to work. That's going to move forward. So I just have to kind of secure some things for that. So that's pretty much my goal by Monday. But ideally, I'd like to have tight pencils done. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get there or any further. I have some like birthday shindigs this weekend too, and those are gonna, like even after recording this, I'm heading to Kinetic, a local microbrewery.
Yeah.
With just one friend, because I don't like giant, birthday things. But so that I want to do, but also because I'm a creator, like to me that's the ideal birthday is just being able to spend time on my work.
Right.
And so it's like, it should be pretty good. And then other than that, I really do want to try to carve out another vlog, because I haven't recorded a full vlog in a while, and I feel like my channel, I want this to be content on my channel, but I also feel like I owe my subscribers a vlog update. So I'll try to do that this weekend as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
I ran out of time, but I'll throw in, I did secure some studio time for my band at the place we were recording at. So we should be doing that mid next month too. But I'd like to at least get those solid dates worked out and get everybody in the band kind of organized and ready to do those dates. So yeah, that'll cap it off. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I was going to do a whole birthday thing. I had this idea, and and then the day got away from me, and I was sprinting down here just to get here on time. So
it's honestly not a big deal.
Oh, I know, but I just thought it would be fun for the viewers. I just had a thing where I was going to push a button, and then it would animate a bunch of things. But best laid plans of mice and men, I guess.
The idea is beautiful. And honestly, to me, one of the things, the goal of this whole thing, of us setting up this whole thing, is an accountability and encouragement kind of vehicle for artists, for ourselves, and hopefully for an example for artists out there, where it's dude, it could be your birthday, it could be a wedding, a funeral, whatever. It's you can still, keep accountable to your friends and stuff about where you're at with your progress if you want to get these things done. Because as we've talked about, even with our struggles, it's there's always struggles, and it's really hard to keep the goal in mind,
Yeah.
So for me, I find this really valuable. It's been cool. It's fun to report my progress. Even today, I found that having this really forced me to sit down and do my thumbnails, and I was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way, because like you've pointed out in other episodes or rounds, whatever we're calling these, I have a tendency to marathon things in big long things, and so this has caused me, instead of sitting back and resting on my laurels of I just put in 10 hours and didn't sleep, now I'm well, but that was 4 days ago, and so I still need to get stuff done, and so I've found a more consistent progress as I'm moving things forward, and I'm still able to do kind of every once in a while one of those big marathon runs, but it's kind of more of a I get to work in things here and there as well, which is good. So I found it great. I just like the concept of, in the back of your mind, Can't remember who said it. But when progress is reported, progress improves.
Yes.
Right? And so like when you are when you know that someone is expecting you to, I tell this to my students all the time. They run a student-run advertising agency, and there's a couple faculty that are kind of on the sidelines to give advice. And
Yeah.
I tell the account executives, I say, hey, you only need to ask someone publicly what they did once, and have them say, oh, I didn't do it, for everybody to realize that you're going to do that every meeting. And then people will start showing up having accomplished stuff, because you never want to publicly be like, well, I didn't do anything, And so this is kind of like that to me, is, not that either of us have any animosity, but just knowing that I have to publicly state progress has been hugely beneficial. And that's why the 100 Days of Making Comics, 100 Days of Animation, Sticker Stint, what is the one that Scott and Sam did that was the monster thing? Anyway, there's like all of those things where it's like every whatever, you've got to publicly show progress. I think those are so valuable.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I think like the weird thing is, it's like, I know that like we're also understanding of each other's situations and stuff. So at the end of the day, if I don't like, have stuff, it's not like you're going to be like, Josh, you suck. Right, it's just it's actually something about the self expectation.
Yeah.
That I think, yeah. All right. Okay. Well, so do you think this is a good time to wrap?
I do. Happy birthday. And
thank you.
This is your channel. Yeah, I changed it up a little.
I love it. I love the kind of old school typewriter feel of it. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's a font I bought for a project that actually I ended up going in a different direction, so I was glad I could use it somewhere. But this is your channel and your birthday, so why don't you take us out?
All right, so you're on my channel, so you know where to find me. If you're not subscribed, obviously click subscribe. That's the first thing you should do. You should also go to Cory Kerr's channel on YouTube and subscribe. And then you can check out the intro. The intro art was made by me. You can check out quarterlystories.com, the intro animation, and all of this stuff, like the timing and all the coding and the crazy like stuff that I have no brain for, is created by the genius Cory Kerr. You can check out at corykerr.com. And then the intro music was by my band, No Saboteurs, and you can check them out at No Saboteurs. And thanks, and make sure you subscribe to both our channels, because this is going to bounce back and forth from each of our channels. So you want to be subscribed so you can kind of keep track of our things. And then just lastly, I'll just remind you guys, join in, like do this yourselves, do an accountability group, make your project happen, and that'll do it.
Okay, we'll see everybody later.